Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. For today's session, I just want to recap what we have done for the topic that is short and medium term decision making. Or sometimes they just focusing on the short term decision making. So at the end of the topic, you should be able to explain the reasons for uncertainties in decision making. So because of the uncertainties that appear in the environment, so you have to make decision. For example, we have pandemic COVID-19 now, so you have to make decisions. Okay, that decision can be either short term or long term. Okay, then you need to know about the model for decision making process. We have looked into a number of these model for decision making process. The idea of that decision making process is basically you need to clarify what's the problem, what's the objective, specify the decision criteria, you have the alternative courses of action. So you have to gather information about that alternative courses of action that you have. Then you compare the cost and benefit of each alternative. Then you decide on the action that you want to proceed. Then or the alternative that you want to proceed. Then once you have implemented that, you do the evaluation. Any divergence from that plan, then you may take corrective action. Okay, that is basically the decision making process. Next, you need to be able to know when you want to make a decision. So that decision should be for a short-term decision making. You should only consider the relevant cost and benefit. Okay, you need to identify. You need to know what is relevant cost, what should be included when you want to make that decision. Okay, for your decision making, you have the short-term decision making and long-term decision making, or sometimes they split it into short, medium, and long-term. So basically, short-term is more operational in nature, medium is more tactical in nature, whereas long-term is more on this strategic in nature. Okay, in more on the corporate level, objectives and goals. That is more for the long-term. Normally, as a rule of thumb, normally for a short-term decision making is within a year. Okay, that decision is within a year. Normally, medium is about 2 to 3 years. Long term, normally more than that. Okay. For a short-term decision making, each decision involves a relatively small amount of money, but for a long-term, each decision involves a relatively large amount of money. And for a short-term, relatively easy for you to change your decision or withdraw if there were to be any activities or any changes in the environment. However, for a long-term decision, can we say relatively not easy for you to change the decision? Why? Because it can have a major financial impact on the company. Next one are the things that you need to know. You need to be able to calculate and explain all the short-term decision making. So you need to be able to calculate about the limiting factor. So we have to look into this one, the limiting factor. So you need to be able to calculate, follow the steps that I've mentioned. Make or buy, you want to make a decision whether you want to make or you want to buy the component or the product. What about the special order? If you receive a special order, should you accept or reject? So you have to look into, are you operating at full capacity or do you have excess capacity? What about discontinuing a segment? You want to add or delete a segment or a product line. Okay. Next, we have looked into further processing decision making. So these are basically that you need to know. You need to be able to calculate. And then when you want to make decision, you don't only look at the quantitative or the financial information or numerical information. You also need to look at the qualitative. Means besides the ringgit and cent, what are other factors that you need to look into when you want to make that decision? So you need to include both quantitative and qualitative in your decision making. So those are the things, the basic things that you need to know for this topic. So with that, I thank you.